Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are opening up a massive file of sources focused on one thing, the high voltage elephant in the room for every potential EV buyer.
Mm-hmm.
We are talking about the battery replacement bill.
That anxiety is powerful, and, our sources confirm it's the single greatest hurdle to mass adoption. If you're considering an electric vehicle, the core fear is always the same.
Right.
That unexpected five-figure failure that turns your environmentally friendly investment into a giant paperweight the moment the warranty expires.
It's a completely understandable concern. I mean, we saw in the data that 26% of car shoppers list expensive battery replacement as their number one biggest worry.
And for good reason.
Yeah.
The current costs they're terrifying.
Precisely. So
Yeah.
to help you navigate this fear, we've stacked up sources that look at the truly scary current prices.
But also the legal safeguards protecting buyers, and this is the big one, the astonishing future price projections that just fundamentally change the entire economic calculation.
We even have to contend with the necessary counter perspective. Oh, yeah.
The skeptical voices in the automotive world, the mechanics who are cautioning long-term owners to, think twice.
Our mission today is to cut through the noise, comparing the current reality against the myth, and providing you with the data you need to decide if that anxiety is justified or if the technology and economics have already solved the problem.
Okay, let's dig into this. We have to start with the sticker shock. If an EV owner needed a new battery pack today, in 2025, what kind of bill are we looking at? Give us the unvarnished scary truth first.
Let's do it. Right now, in 2025, the cost of a new battery pack typically falls within a huge range.
Great.
We're talking $5,000 on the very low end, up to $20,000 for the pack itself.
That is a staggering $15,000 spread just for the component.
And that doesn't even include the labor. You need to factor in an additional, say, $1,000 to $3,000 for installation.
And that depends on the car, I assume.
Exactly. The complexity of the vehicle's architecture, labor rates in your region, all of that. So can you break down that cost variation? What makes a $5,000 battery so different from a $20,000 one?
It's overwhelmingly a function of capacity, which, translates directly to range, and the cooling technology required.
Right.
The sources illustrate this really clearly. If you're driving a compact, shorter range EV, maybe something designed for city driving, you might be in that lower window.
So $5,000 to $8,000.
5 to 8,000, yeah. But if you've opted for premium performance, long-distance capability,
That's where the CAI jump.
that's where they jump. Luxury vehicles, high-end performance sedans, or vehicles with extremely long range that require much larger packs. These can easily run from $12,000 up to $20,000.
Wow.
And notably, the new generation of electric pickup trucks, they need massive packs to pull heavy loads and offer long range.
So they're even more.
They can push those costs even higher, sometimes up to $25,000.
So we can look at the industry average price per unit of storage to get a baseline. What does the data say the average cost is right now?
Okay, so based on global 2024 data, the industry average pricing is about $115 per kilowatt hour for a complete battery pack.
And for listeners who don't track the commodities market, what does that $115 per kilowatt hour figure actually mean?
It represents a significant threshold. When we talk about 115 kilowatt hours, we're talking about the total cost a manufacturer incurs to build the pack.
So that includes raw materials.
Raw materials like lithium, nickel, cobalt, plus the electronics, cooling systems, the casing, all of it. It confirms that the battery is, today, the single most expensive component of the vehicle.
Right. But here's the crucial counterpoint, and this is where the anxiety starts to look, well, a little misplaced. We need to look at how often this actually happens.
This is the part of the story the headlines always miss.
Right. How often does this $15,000 catastrophe actually occur?
The statistics are incredibly reassuring. Multiple analyses show that battery replacement is vivid. It's exceptionally rare.
How rare?
Reviewing data from over 15,000 EVs, the findings confirmed that only about 2.5% of electric vehicles actually require a battery replacement in their useful life.
2.5%. That's it. That's a rarity rate comparable to, I don't know, a major engine failure in a gasoline car, maybe even less frequent than needing a new transmission.
It's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
And for those rare instances of failure, this is the definitive safety net,
The warranty.
the warranty. Of the replacements that do occur, that tiny 2.5%, approximately 90% of them happen under the protection of the manufacturer's warranty.
So almost no out-of-pocket costs for most people who have a problem.
Minimal or zero, exactly.
So the warranty is the shield that makes the current high price pretty much irrelevant for the first decade of ownership. Detail that coverage for us.
It's a very strong consumer protection.
Mm.
Federal law mandates a minimum of an 8-year or 100,000-mile warranty on the battery packs. That's the floor.
A minimum.
A minimum. If you're in a state that has adopted stricter emission standards like California, that coverage is often enhanced to 10 years or 150,000 miles.
And the warranty isn't just for a total failure, right? It protects against just bad degradation, which is what hits your range.
Correct. The warranty kicks in when the battery capacity drops below 70% of its original capacity. This is critical. It ensures that even after nearly a decade, you still have an acceptable, usable range.
And if you don't, the manufacturer is on the hook.
They are on the hook to fix it.
Okay, that covers the current fear. Failure is rare, and you're covered. Now, let's zoom in on the future, because the economics are moving at, well, warp speed. This is where the long-term feasibility of EVs becomes really compelling.
This is dramatic technological story unfolding in real time.
Let's talk about the astonishing price plunge.
Okay. Goldman Sachs recently published a projection that battery prices are expected to reach $80 per kilowatt hour by as soon as 2026.
Let's put that number in perspective. You were just talking about 115 kilowatt hours in 2024.
Right.
Dropping to $80 by 2026 means the price is effectively dropping by almost a third in 2 years. And it's roughly half of what we saw in 2023.
This rapid decline, it's not just fast. It mirrors that deflationary trend we saw with technologies like flat-screen TVs or solar panels a decade ago. It's an exponential curve.
Driven by scale and efficiency.
Exactly.
And what's the ultimate implication of reaching that $80 per kilowatt hour threshold in 2026?
Parity. The sources highlight that this price point means the manufacturing cost of a new EV will achieve parity with a comparable new gasoline car.
As soon as 2026.
Potentially. This fundamentally removes the upfront price premium that has been the other major barrier for consumers.
It gets even more interesting when we look toward the end of the decade. How much further can these costs realistically fall by 2030?
The consensus is very optimistic. Bloomberg NEF predicts $69 per kilowatt hour by 2030. But other research firms like RMI and a lot of industry insiders believe we will see pack prices hit the magic number.
Which is?
At or under $50 per kilowatt hour.
$50. Wow.
And that's based on achieving a sell price of just $35 per kilowatt hour.
Okay, so if that 50 kilowatt hour projection holds, how does that fundamentally change the repair anxiety we started with?
It just eradicates it. The key takeaway is affordability. Let's assume that $50 pricing in 2030, a massive 100 kilowatt hour replacement pack, which you'd find in a high-end luxury vehicle, might only cost the consumer, say, $4,500 to $5,000.
No, that is the turning point right there.
Absolutely. For a more standard 75 kilowatt hour vehicle, you'd be looking at a replacement cost between, $3,375 and $4,800.
So we're talking about a repair bill that is equivalent to, or even cheaper than, replacing a complex combustion engine.
Which could easily cost $6,000 to $10,000 or more plus labor. When the component cost aligns, the financial risk just, poof, disappears.
This rapid collapse in pricing isn't accidental, though. It's driven by specific industrial and tech shifts. What are the main factors, according to RMI?
They point to 3 integrated factors. First, cheaper battery chemistries are coming online fast.
Like LFP.
Most notably lithium iron phosphate,
Right.
LFP,
Right.
yes. They use less expensive, more available materials, which drastically reduces cost.
And the other two.
Second, we're seeing higher energy density packs. So manufacturers are getting more kilowatt hours into the same physical space, more bang for your buck.
Right.
And third, and this is crucial long-term, is the massive scaling of recycling and reuse. Creating a closed-loop system for raw materials dramatically reduces the overall supply cost.
And the Goldman Sachs analysis added a wrinkle to that. It pointed out that over 40% of the recent decline is just market normalization.
Exactly. Lower commodity costs, especially for lithium and cobalt, after that huge price inflation we saw a couple of years ago.
So it's a perfect storm of innovation, scale, and market correction. All signs point downward.
They do.
All right, before we crown the EV the undisputed champion of the road, we have to address the critical view. Our sources include the perspective of skeptical automotive experts like the mechanic persona Garage Hermetico. He specifically urges long-term motorists to think twice. What is the core of his warning?
He provides the essential counterbalance. He asks us to look past the warranty period. He starts by conceding the huge savings EVs offer on running costs.
He admits they're cheaper to run.
Oh, yeah. He estimates about €2.7 per 100 kilometers versus €10 for gasoline, and agrees maintenance is cheaper. But then he asks the difficult question. What happens after 10 years when the manufacturer stops caring?
The anxiety is rooted in that post-warranty cliff, isn't it?
It is. His primary concern is that an out-of-warranty failure on an older model today, where a 10-year owner hasn't budgeted for this future price drop, could still cost 10, 15,000 euros or more.
But his strongest argument, the one that really challenges the current market, relates to resale value and degradation.
Absolutely. He argues that even if the battery is technically functional, the perception of degradation just crushes the car's resale value. He says a petrol car retains a higher resale value after 10 years simply because it doesn't carry that liability of a catastrophic future repair.
And for someone buying used today, that's a huge risk, inheriting a possible $20,000 repair bill.
It's a massive financial risk.
Mm.
His warning holds a lot of weight today, but it's fundamentally invalidated by those 2030 projections.
Because once the market accepts that a replacement battery costs $5,000, not $20,000,
The whole resale argument completely flips. The used EV market will stabilize because the financial liability becomes manageable. It becomes like replacing a transmission.
so if we zoom out and look at the total cost of ownership, or TCO, how does that current risk factor stack up against all the savings?
Even factoring in the current high cost and the risk of one replacement, the overall TCO still heavily favors the EV.
Really?
Yeah. Our sources reference a detailed analysis comparing a Tesla Model 3 to a comparable BMW 330i, assuming the EV owner has to pay for one complete battery replacement.
Which we already established is highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely. But even assuming that worst-case scenario, the EV still saves the owner a staggering $26,480 over the 28.5-year analysis period.
That's phenomenal savings, even with the highest possible repair risk built into the model.
And the EV reaches cost parity with the gasoline car in just 19 years. The rest of the car's life is pure savings. It just shows that the ongoing savings on fuel and maintenance offset that potential cost many times over.
And even if you do face an issue on an older vehicle, full replacement is rapidly becoming unnecessary. We have some excellent practical cost-saving alternatives developing.
The repair ecosystem is maturing really quickly. For older vehicles, module-level repairs are a great alternative. Instead of replacing the entire pack, you just replace the few failed modules.
Now, what does that cost?
Typically $2,000 to $5,000.
Yeah.
A repair far closer to what most people expect for a major vehicle issue.
And the aftermarket is developing alternatives to expensive OEM parts, much like for any other car.
Exactly. The refurbished battery market offers huge savings. We're like in 30 to 50% compared to buying a new pack from the manufacturer.
So you could get a third-party refurbished pack.
For sure. A refurbished Tesla Model 3 pack can be sourced for around $9,000. It's a great mid-level value proposition for extending the life of a used EV.
What's truly fascinating is the coming second life market, where the battery, even when it's degraded, still has significant value.
This is truly revolutionary for depreciation. Instead of that old battery being a liability, the sources predict that by 2030, you may be able to resell your degraded pack.
For what?
For static energy storage. A pack with 75% capacity is perfect for home backup power or grid stabilization.
So you turn a liability into a trade-in credit.
Precisely. This could offset the cost of a new replacement pack by, say, $10 to $20 per kilowatt hour. For a 75 kilowatt hour pack, that's another $750 to $1,500 off your replacement bill.
So the battery retains value throughout its entire life cycle.
Something no combustion engine can match.
Finally, for the listener who owns an EV or is about to buy one, what actionable advice can we offer to extend the life of the battery and, well, minimize the chances of ever needing that replacement?
Proper battery care is key. The number one rule for daily use is to follow the 20-80% charging rule.
Keep it in that band.
Keep it in that band. Only push to 100% when you absolutely need the range. It just reduces chemical stress. Also, minimize DC fast charging.
Because of the heat.
The heat accelerates degradation. Use level 2 charging whenever you can. And overall, modern EV batteries are proving remarkably robust. The average degradation rate is now only about 1.8% per year.
So with proper care, it should easily outlast the rest of the car.
Easily.
So what does this all mean? We started with a very real anxiety. We learned that the current high replacement cost is mostly a phantom, offset by rarity and the warranty shield. And the future holds replacement prices that will be comparable to a major engine repair. The anxiety today is really rooted in yesterday's numbers.
Right. And if we synthesize all these findings, the most provocative thought is this. Due to falling prices in that emerging second life market, The sources suggest that soon it will no longer be the case that a 10-plus-year-old EV is worthless.
It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. Replacing the battery will be financially feasible for just a few $1,000s, flipping what was once a massive liability into a sustainable, future-proof asset.
That is the economic shift that makes EVs irresistible in the long run. Thank you for sharing your sources and diving deep into this topic with us, helping us describe the article in such a compelling manner.
My pleasure.
If you enjoyed this in-depth look at EV battery economics, please follow the channel for more deep dives into complex topics. Thank you all for tuning in.